Ojo, good afternoon. Thanks for joining me on the show.
Good afternoon, Samson. Good afternoon, viewers. Thank you for the opportunity to be on the show.
Thank you. And I'm sure you're excited. Today's date is, peculiar to you. You're a friend of the house.
Yeah.
Okay. Don't worry. We'll make the birthday shout out later on the show. But let's get into the thick of things as quickly as we can because we have so much to offer to our viewers. Yesterday we had Premier League action at Old Trafford, and it was Manchester United against Liverpool. The result, were you shocked by the result or Liverpool's dismal performance?
I was actually shocked by the result, considering what has been going on in around Old Trafford.
Exactly.
But of course, when in the course of the match and looking at what the United players are putting out on the field of play, then it began to make believe that it's something that can come out of the match for the United team.
Okay, looking at the match, I mean, it was a vast improvement for United, as against their two first league matches. What do you think was the change? Was it about, resting Maguire and Ronaldo, or it was just the players ready to play for Ten Hag?
It was just the attitude of the players were extremely different from what we saw last time out against Brentford. And it was actually pointed out that the Brentford team heavily around the United team for that match. So all what they needed was for them to change their approach and attitude to the matches they want to be playing in. Because if you look at all of them, they are players with class, with their international players.
Yes.
So the only thing that was lacking there was just their attitude, and which was so different. Like I said before, that when I saw the way and manner they were approaching the game from the beginning of the match, I knew there might be something up for the United team, and I eventually they live up to what I saw from the beginning of the match.
Okay, talking about United, I mean, they did virtually everything right on the night, but for Liverpool, where does this leave them? 3 matches into the season, they're meant to be title contenders. They're still without a win, and this performance last night is seemingly a regression from what we saw in the first 2 matches, where they end draws against Fulham as well as Crystal Palace.
Yeah, for the Liverpool team, I think it's going to take maybe even the next match you can see a little bit of slackness, a little bit of not being able to for the team to play together, for them to play for each other. That was what we saw in the Manchester United team of yesterday. They played together for each other. Now this Liverpool team are just being that's being called together for fresh faces in the team. People are not used to the kind of style they usually play. So they will be trying to adopt going forward in the season. And I hope it's something that they will be able to quickly get used to, and then they'll be able to play for each other, and then they'll be able to get in the point that they need to get as the season unfolds.
Okay, let's move away from the match we saw yesterday, but still talk about Manchester United. They've been in the news for the past probably 4 or 5 weeks for virtually the wrong reasons, with the exception of last night's result. United, the win we saw yesterday, is it a start to a new era, talking about the Ten Hag era? And are we looking at a massive change, either in terms of recruitment, team overhaul, or probably a change in ownership? Because there are speculations the club is probably up for sale.
United fans, if I were to be a United fan and you ask me this kind of question, what many United fans in the UK now, in Manchester, what they will tell you immediately is for them to just tell you they will actually prefer a change of ownership.
Okay.
Club. They will actually prefer it. And in that case, it won't, if there's a change of ownership, it won't be business as usual.
Okay.
They will not just be looking at profit margin, what they will get from every season, from season out, without considering titles that need to be won.
Okay.
And so that's what makes difference in the management of a football team.
Yes.
And that's what we have not been seeing for some years now in the United team. So many of their legends are still tilting towards the fact that there might be need for the management to the ownership to change hands, and then there will be more desire for the team or for the management team to win trophies. They will be on their toes to win trophies. And be that as it may, even if this current ownership is still going to remain, I think there is need for the usually get a trophy. So the coaches that were coming in, they are coaches that have been after those times. They are coaches that it's been a while that they've gotten very close to trophies compared to what you are seeing in just what you saw in Jose Mourinho and what you are seeing in Eric Ten Hag now.
Okay.
Who has been used to winning trophies, who has winning mentality in his mind.
Yes.
And that's what I feel he will translate into the Manchester United squad. And all around Old Trafford, they will feel it, and then they will, of course, have to fall in line to it.
Okay, just before we wrap up this discussion about United, and assessing where they go from here, let's look at the recruitment. There have been calls for, a total overhaul of the team, that the players are probably not good enough to play at top flight level. Rashford, Martial, the rest of them playing below par, even Ronaldo. Do you subscribe to that notion that the team should be overhauled in terms of having new personnel on ground?
First of all, the best part of the best way to answer the question is,
yes,
if you have access to what exactly is going on around the dressing room of Old Trafford, what exactly is the problem in their training ground, what exactly is the problem with the relationship between the manager and the players. So, well, if everything happens to be going well and then that the results are not coming forth, then there might be need for the coach to begin to bring in faces that will be looking at him that, oh, I have the opportunity of giving you, I'm the one that is giving you this privilege because I trust you to come and perform very well for this team.
Okay.
So
just before you got disconnected earlier, quickly, what's your response to Tuchel being charged by the FA for his comments against referee Anthony Taylor?
Of course, that's what you usually expect from the English FA when he has anything to do with their referee. So every coaches have been cautioned that they have to know the kind of language they use towards those referees, because these same referees are still the referee that will still be officiating in future in any of your matches, possibly any of the matches that the Chelsea Football Club will be involved in. So there is need for, even if you are having any issues as to how the performance of the referee is on the field of play, it's something that you can approach in the management level to the FA, rather than just making those kind of comments. I know it's out of aggression, out of reactions of what happened in the match. So that against Tottenham Hotspur. So, but I think there's need for caution for every coaches going forward.
Okay, let's see how that pans out. Remember, Tuchel has a one-match touchline ban, although that's suspended for now. I'm sure future conduct that will be triggered as it were. Well, let's move away from there and talk about Ismail Assar's £25 million move to Aston Villa that collapsed just at the very last second of that deal. Agreement had been reached between both clubs. The player had also agreed personal terms, but it was just about the final details of that contract that led to a stalemate in the negotiations, talking about the likes of Courtney House being included in the deal as a loan move. Is this a good one, Ojo, for Aston Villa? They need a striker apparently, and you have Sarr, who comes with a decent wealth of experience from the Premier League football as well as European football generally. Do you think this is a good move, considering its collapse?
It's a good move for for Sarr.
Yes.
So, but it should have been a good move, because I actually believe the guy has a lot of things to give.
Exactly.
The Aston Villa team, from their performances for the past 2 matches now, they have been slow. They have been slow, and they have not been results going forward. So they needed a freshness in the attack.
Okay. Well, let's see how this pans out for them. Sarr definitely still has to stay stuck with Watford, and I'm sure in the coming days, the transfer window is still on September 1st. Is when the transfer window closes. So that's still minute move, if you want to call it, or last minute move, I beg your pardon, from various clubs and players. Well, it's time to take you through the sports business news, and we'll start with football, where Manchester United's owners are looking for at least $235 million in funding amid speculation that they could sell part or all of the iconic football team. The Glazer family is looking for capital to make infrastructure improvements to the team's Old Trafford Stadium, including a capacity increase to 90,000. A loan or stake sale have both been discussed, and potential investors are likely to offer funds in exchange for a percentage of the team's media rights. A debt sale could be complicated by the team's existing balance sheet. Under the Glazers, the club has paid $1.1 billion in interest and debt repayments, while the Glazers have collected $406 million in share sales, consulting fees, and dividends. Private equity firm Apollo Global Management backed out of talks with Manchester United, but talks with others may be ongoing. Now, the Glazers would reportedly seek a record $5.9 billion at the very least were they to sell the club. Still talking football, Valencia have revealed a new partnership with Herrera Brigantina, which will see the insurance firm's logo feature on the back of the Spanish football club's shirts for the 2022-2023 season. Now, the new deal designates the Spanish company as premium partner of the La Liga outfit and also secures branding on Valencia's training shirts as well as a package of club inventory. Earlier this year, Valencia inked a new main shirt sponsorship deal with online car retailer Cazzo in a deal reportedly worth €4 million annually.